welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. I am with my wife, Jenica.
Hi.
And as you can see in the back, we just picked up our cow.
Yay!
He's a bull. He's a Holstein, which is it's a dairy breed, but you know, you can still use them for beef, and that's what we're gonna do. We got him. He's actually already basically weaned, right?
Yes.
Like we can, yeah. He's 3 months old, and tomorrow we're gonna pick up 2 more bulls that are Holsteins, and then we're gonna castrate them which turns them into a steer. If you're not familiar with cows, if you're using a bull for meat, you'll typically castrate them. It makes the meat more tender, and you know, and the bulls become less aggressive. And there's like a couple different things. I've talked about it a couple times on the channel, but it looks like that's what we're gonna do, at least in the meantime. So we'll have 3 bulls that are Holsteins, and then we will turn them all into steers. So that's the plan.
Yeah, some people say Holsteins are they taste good for meat, so they don't produce as much meat, but they still produce plenty, and it still tastes good, so it's okay that they're a dairy breed.
Yeah, it's fine. They're cheaper, and that's basically why we got them, because if we wanted to do beef, well, first of all, there's not like a whole lot that I was able to find in the first place, but secondly, they're more expensive, so we're just going to do this for now, and then maybe as we grow our herd, maybe later on we'll get like an actual beef cow. These people, they actually had one that was half Angus and then a quarter Jersey and a quarter Holstein, so it was like half beef cow, and then the other half was dairy, which that would have been fine. But it was sick, but it was separated from this one, so this one doesn't look sick, and there's no scours like in the back.
And he's very friendly. He will let you come right up and pet him and snuggle him, and he's very sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, as you can see, we have him here in our van. Yeah, he's 3 months old. He's not really much bigger than just like a really big dog, and it works just fine.
Hey, I have an idea. So we were gonna name him Jackson because our last Jersey bull name was Jack. So we're gonna name him Jackson. But what do you guys think? What do you think we should name him?
Yeah.
See what they think. Give us some ideas.
Well, Jackson, it's actually, like, I had that idea because that's the road that we're driving on right now to pick him up from. So anyway, I only had that one video today talking about a global church, and I'm probably not going to be able to do another like regular video, so I just want to go through maybe some comments. Jenica's going to read them, and then we'll respond to them.
Okay, the first one is from Susan Cooper. I guess what I'd like to share is this. In 1998-ish, Elder Haight came to our stake and spoke about being an apostle for one, but he also spoke about the prophet and how they are a global ministry. He exclaimed, Jesus Christ came to the world and showed himself to the world. He has apostles who also serve the world. Our prophet is the prophet of the whole earth, not just Utah and California, ... Then, of course, there were some chuckles. Then he spent an hour explaining to us that we are a select generation who within ourselves, our children and grandchildren, will be blessed to take this news to the world in various ways and positions we hold, rather in the church or in jobs that require us to be placed in other countries around the globe. That's basically what he said. I never really forgot that because I remember how that touched my heart. I have been blessed with numerous missionary experiences, and I didn't even leave my town yet. Laugh out loud. I remember the one thing that drew in new members was our ability to provide service and charity at the drop of a hat, and people were curious about that. Maybe that was a time when people appreciated good people, but I still feel that effect is still on the earth. When I was a military wife, I was blessed with the opportunity to
Oh, hold on really quick. Sorry. Will you put the directions in for a moment?
Oh, hold on.
Sorry, we're in an area we're not too familiar with. We're basically in southeastern Kansas. That's where we're getting him from. It's only like 3 hours away from where we live. It's kind of far, but that's just what we had to do. So
It's cute that he's joining us. Say hi.
I love calves. I love them.
Yeah, they're special. Hi. Oh, so sweet. Okay, now I have to find where I'm at. Are you ready for me to keep going?
Yeah. The directions are going?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was a military wife, I was blessed with the opportunity to explain our gospel to various people from around the country. Having open dialect with an atheist can actually be thought-provoking to them, and when they read the Book of Mormon and realize it is true, they tend to do a few things. They tell others about the Book of Mormon. They tend to question themselves and don't stop questioning you. They either accept God has to exist and do something about it, or they carry on through life remembering that funny book they read once and how it doesn't leave their mind. The hardest part is when an atheist comes from an atheist family and they just can't bring themselves to disappoint their family with the truth. We met many people from Guam and the Philippines, and we are happy to teach them with the missionaries. That was probably the best group of people because they were hungry and thirsting for the knowledge of the truth. Long story short, they carried the gospel to the other lands and have taught others, and the seeds are still being planted. You have to love the gospel for that very reason. It is the good news the entire globe is waiting for. It is that something in the back of their minds that they knew had to exist, or this life would be in vain. Pure truth is what is reaching people around the world, and I do believe within 2 to 3 years our members will reach millions more. You yourself are a global teacher just being right here on YouTube. Imagine what folks are telling others when they have missionary messages from this channel being shared. Great video again, dear brother.
Well, thank you so much. And I would encourage all of you, if you have even the slightest inkling to do a YouTube channel, a Facebook group, a page, a message board, or not even anything necessarily have to do with computers, just like use your gifts that you've been given and consecrate them. Consecrate your time and your talents to the Lord. As it turns out, it looks like I'm able to run a successful YouTube channel that people are interested in, which kind of actually blows me away. I didn't expect it to be doing this well, but it is, and so I'm just going to keep going with it. And I will say, I think I've said this earlier on in the channel, but for some reason, the military is just like chock full of people that are like asking like the big questions of life, like what's the purpose of life, who am I? Because when you go to basic training, you have the opportunity to go to church. There's like a bunch of different churches. You can choose to go wherever you want to. And there's just like a lot of like discussion about religion. And even after basic training, I don't know if it's because, there's a lot of like military people that don't really know, where they're going in life. I think a lot of them do, but other ones are just kind of like, that's how they ended up in the military, is they just like didn't really know what to do as far as like a job goes. And they're just trying to make their way in the world. And I think part of that is also with like the way that they view religion. So there's just like a lot of, and I don't know, maybe it's because
in a quarter mile, turn right onto North Lincoln Avenue.
Sorry, I had to listen to the directions. Maybe it's because like they're now in a job where they could potentially die, and so death is more on their mind. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is that in the military, from beginning all the way till the end, it's a very rich
turn right onto North Lincoln Avenue
place for missionary opportunities. And we did our best when we were at Fort Hood. I had one friend that was in my unit, and we lived on post. We had the missionaries over, and he would come over, and it doesn't seem like he's done anything since then, but I don't know. He had that curiosity. So anyway, that's enough. That's enough about the military. Yeah. Did you have something to say?
Not really. Just that we got the opportunity. It's like moving to just a new area. You have a lot more people to share the gospel with. We would invite people in the neighborhood over for dinner and just let them know we were LDS and lead by example.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Kansas 39
All right.
West.
So thank you for your comment. That was Susan Cooper?
I believe so. Yeah, Susan Cooper.
All right.
Okay, next is from IMC 2525. I remember when the church used to say worldwide church. Now it's global church. I wonder why.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would assume just because there's a lot of talk of like I don't know.
Left onto Kansas 39 West Cherry Street.
It just seems like that word is being used more in the world in general, you know, with globalism and the global pandemic, and maybe they're just kind of like trying to fit the, you know, the wording that the world is using to, I don't know. That's my guess, but I don't know. Thanks for the comment.
Okay, I don't know how to say his name. It's your friend from Spain, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Aritz I'm not even gonna try. What is it?
It's Arith Lizarraga Olascoaga.
Okay. Lizarraga? That's what I would have said. Okay, he said, I was born in 1979. When were you born? I went late to my mission, but it seems that you did too. Seems like we have more in common than just serving in the BCN mission and with the same mission president.
Yeah, I went about a year late, but I mean, I don't want to give my like exact year of birth, but it was like the early 80s. I'll just put it like that.
Okay. And this one is from Olivia Lord. I have been following this. It's so fascinating.
Wait, what video is she?
The video Top Rabbi claims he's in contact with the Messiah. I have been following this. It's so fascinating. We are in the Shemitah year, which ends September 26th, and a Jubilee year, which ends the beginning of April. This is a big deal to the Jewish people. There's an excellent video that helps explain this. It will blow your mind. And then she has a link to a YouTube video.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I've had a bunch of people, I don't think that they're members of our church, because I do get a decent amount of people that are not church members commenting on the channel, and it seems like a lot of them are always like, oh, they're always saying that, they always think that the Messiah is near, and I mean, I don't know, but I don't think that's right. I think that they really do, like, there's a really, really heightened sense and excitement about the Messiah appearing. Now, obviously, we know who the Messiah is. It's Jesus Christ. But I still think, like I've said before, I think it's really, really significant that they're like in this frame of mind, because essentially we're getting really close to the second coming. Israel is going to be at war and invaded, and Jerusalem is going to be under siege. And Christ is going to come down in glory, and he's going to save them. So even though they're not looking for the right Messiah, and they think that maybe he's already among them, their minds are like in Messiah mode, like more than it has been before. That, from what I can tell, from everything that I've seen so far, like, this is different than before. It's not just like, oh, they're always acting like this. No, it seems like right now is much, much different than any other time before. And I think that's significant. I think it's a sign of the times. I think they are, whether they're aware of it or not, they're like in some way being prepared for when the second coming happens. Thanks for your comment.
The next one is on the Global Church video from Betty Horn. Hi, Betty. I was there when Jared did his interview, so I kind of feel like I know you, even though you didn't see me. Betty said, if you are coming out of the Stone Age, I've been living in prehistoric times. Laugh out loud. like in your last video, I still think it's interesting to see how the church has changed course from teaching temporal to spiritual salvation from the 1940s to now.
Yeah, now that Stone Age, she's talking about, if you missed it, like I was talking about how I was doing something on my spreadsheet in a manual way when I could have been doing it in like a more automated way using conditional formatting of the cells on my spreadsheet, where I'm keeping track of all these different words and phrases that show up in General Conference. I have some friends from Germany that brought me out of the Stone Age, and I'm learning more and more about Excel. It seems to be a really good way to learn Excel is running a YouTube channel.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. But anyway, what was that part she said that the church has gone from...
It's gone from teaching temporal to spiritual salvation from the 1940s to now.
Yeah. Well, you might have to expand on that. Do you just mean like there's been more emphasis before on like temporal things, like self-reliance and preparedness, and now not so much, like we're shifting a lot more toward just like spiritual things? You'll have to expand on that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know.
Is that what you think she's saying?
That sounds like it, but that'd be interesting to see if that's what she's thinking.
Yeah. Thanks, Betty.
Yeah. Okay, this is on the video. Some believe World War III has already happened. Yes, Putin would use nukes. Okay. This is from Nerve Gear 22. Transnistria is already Russia. There are Russian troops there since 1992.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, essentially it is, but it's a lot like Luhansk and Donetsk, where they've been basically under Russian control since 2014 with Crimea. So I'm just saying that this is like a similar situation, even though they already have troops there. Who knows? That's the same thing that they're doing to Ukraine right now, they might do to Moldova. It's like the exact same situation, only smaller. So I guess we'll just see what happens. Thanks for the comment.
Your testimony, foundation, and preparation, from Leah Torres. The early 90s was when Saddam Hussein came on the radar, and most Americans, and the threat of war in the Middle East became a reality. Yeah, I remember that. That was the time when I was in my youth, and that's when war became knowledgeable to me. Jared says he hasn't thought World War III would ever happen, thinking how I kind of been expecting it. I just figure there's just going to be another war, so it's just bound to happen sometime soon, but I hope it doesn't.
Well, no, I've always thought that there's the possibility for World War III, but what's happening right now with Russia and Ukraine, that was not on my radar. I thought that Crimea was it, and maybe at its worst, Russia would just do the same thing to Luhansk and Donetsk. As far as the Middle East goes, now we do have to remember there has been war there before, like during the 6-Day War, Israel in Israel's War of Independence. So there has been war there. So yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. But good comment. Thanks for the comment.
Okay, how many arches? From 6164 Rock. You're reading too much into the number. However, it was common knowledge that when the BYU Jerusalem Center was built, that they built it to be a temple and converted inside within days, if not hours. That'd be interesting if it was in with hours, but I'd just like to know where he got the information.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I am reading too much in the number, but I just think that it's interesting that the number of pillars and arches matches up with the Independence Visitor Center. If both of these buildings, the BYU Jerusalem Center and the Independence Visitor Center, are intended to be temples in the future, that's an interesting similarity. That's all. Oh, there was something else I was going to say. What?
He said something about it being converted into a temple within days, if not hours.
Common knowledge. Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know how old you are. I've never... The first time I ever heard about that was when I was in college. I think this was before my mission, I want to say. And I was going to Institute, and that's where I first heard it, was from my Institute teacher. I don't have any like documentation or anything to suggest that it was common knowledge back then, but if you were alive back then you would be more of an authority on that than I would be. But yeah, the first time I heard it would have been, the very early 2000s, around that time. So I don't know, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the comment.
Your testimony, foundation, and preparation. From Lori Hast. I love that you said, hang on, we are almost there. That sentence resonated, peace within my soul. I think we're almost there, but thank you for saying that.
Yeah. I think we are. I think all the preparation, working on your spiritual foundation, all that stuff was hit really hard starting in the 90s and then going on for this very time that we're in right now. And I feel like that's highlighted by the fact that President Nelson and others, they keep talking about how this is a time unlike any other, that this is a very critical time in the world's history. So all of that, putting all that together, leads me to believe that we really are almost there. I really do. Okay.
He's scratching himself on your chair. Okay. Betty Horn gave a couple comments. She said, first, it would be interesting to see a comparison between it would be interesting to see a comparison between temporal and spiritual salvation. And then she said, I think because of just coming out of
in half a mile, turn right to stay on Kansas 39 West.
I think because of just coming out of and being in the middle of 2 world wars and the Great Depression, more of what they spoke of was probably about those issues and church welfare and self-sustaining practices like gardens and food storage. Temporal salvation was on the minds of the leaders, in my opinion, because they were being faced with so much poverty and death. That's why I think that's why she
that makes sense
Take the
now.
next right to stay on Kansas 39 West.
Yeah, okay, you don't need to explain that, Betty Horton. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, maybe that is. I haven't read any of the conference talks from back then.
Continue on Kansas 39 West for 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Okay.
I think he's pooping.
That's okay.
I just
read
don't want it to be right here. Okay. Massive amounts of water discovered underneath Jerusalem, and then Brandon Potter said, I live in West Valley City, Utah, near Magna.
Okay. That's just I asked people where they were from, so.
Oh, okay.
In half a mile, turn left to stay on Kansas 39 West.
Okay, your testimony, foundation, and preparation. CM Zybarth said, I think that over time, more and more spirits are being sent to the earth with a greater capacity to have independent
to stay on Kansas 39 West.
Independent testimonies. Counterintuitively, when you have an independent testimony, it puts you in line with the prophets, not against them, because then everyone is being lighted by the same spirit.
West for 15 miles.
I went to a singles fireside in 2011 where Richard J. Maines of the 70s spoke about how we are entering a time period where it would be more important for each individual member to have guidance from the Spirit to help the overall work of the church administration. If there's an uptick beginning in 2018, I do think a lot of that could be due to President Nelson. His first official full conference talk to members was focused on urging them to receive personal revelation.
Yeah. And that's another thing that makes me feel, well, it goes along with what we were talking about being spiritually prepared and having a foundation for this time. And there's been a lot of talk from President Nelson himself and Sister Nelson about the pre-existence and the caliber of type of people that are being sent here right now during this specific time, because and it makes sense, because I don't think there's been a time quite like this where you can't there's a lot of things that you can't say or else you'll be ostracized. So if you call out things that are bad, or if you support things that are good, you are now much more at risk of punishment from, people that you know. There's never been such a time like this where there's been so much shame and tactics and manipulation to get you in line with what the correct philosophy is supposed to be for everybody. And there's been a lot of pressure on the church, and the church has, I feel like they've done a really good job trying to meet people halfway on different issues. But unless you have a testimony of the truth, then it's going to be really easy for you to just kind of fall away and go the way of the world. And that's another thing. Like, it's not popular to stand with truth and stand with the principles that we know are right. So you basically have to choose between being accepted socially or sticking to your values. Not everybody's able to do it, so it is important right now that people are being sent to this earth that are able to withstand that trial. So, you have any thoughts on that?
No, basically just say everything that's on my mind.
Okay. Thanks for the comment.
And then Catherine Bentley says she's from Blue Springs, Missouri.
Okay.
Hi, neighbor. Your testimony, foundation, and preparation. Becky Wright says, I think the big mention in the earlier 2000s was to get us prepared for now, for what's coming. That this was very enlightening. That's what I thought. Like the bigger mentions in the 2000s, getting us all ready for this time period. Same thoughts.
Yeah.
Europe Area Presidency Council 72-hour Kids in Preparedness. Oh yeah, that's the one that we went on a drive with, right?
Yeah.
Okay, from Julia and Ross Moore. Listening from Alberta, Canada. Sorry, Alberta. I have a lot of family in that area, by the way. One side of my family is from Alberta.
Yeah.
Listening from Alberta, Canada. Many challenges ahead. More than ever, we need to hear the Spirit hourly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Janet Carlson. As far as storage, I've always been told to consider half a tank of gas as empty. A former ward member lived in Rexburg, Idaho area when the Teton Dam collapsed. The family had one new car, one older car. The car was basically out of gas and they were going to fill it Monday morning. When word came to evacuate on Saturday, they didn't have time to go to a gas station and they had to take the old vehicle. They lost the new car in the flood, but the family was able to flee. None of us are safe from every natural disaster. I would rather make more trips to buy gas than wish I would have, and it could make a difference between life and death.
Yeah. And and I've thought about that a lot, but that's something that we don't do very well with.
No.
I wish we did, but I think that's a very good practice. Always fill up once you hit halfway full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's start doing that.
Okay.
Okay. And someone quoted here, or Pam Casimir quoted, "Hang on, we're almost there." And then L. Foot is from Mesa, Arizona. I have family with the last name Foot.
Yeah. And we miss Arizona.
Yeah, we miss Arizona. Especially this winter, I've missed Arizona. Your testimony, foundation, and preparation from Susan Cooper. I think that the reason we are seeing several of the subjects mentioned prior to the 50s is because we didn't reach over 1 million members until 1947 or 48-ish. Prior to that, there was still a war and people were told to stay in their countries and build up Zion there. Also, we actually did have members that were baptized and remained faithful till the church found them. I believe Fiji and the Pacific Island countries were rich with members who nobody knew about until the 50s. I had so much more to say and forgot what I wanted to tell you. Laugh out loud. I apologize. I'll try to come back later and add what I remember when studying the prophets of the dispensation. God bless you, dear brother.
Thank you.
Susan again. Okay, I'll keep going.
Yeah. Let's do a few more.
Okay. This is from Meryl. I love this channel. A nice soundtrack to my daily Second Coming preparation. Rock on.
Good, I'm glad. This is like one of the funnest things I've ever done. It's fun to do it. It forces me to continually look for new information and to dig deeper. So it's been very beneficial to me, and I hope it has been for you too. And I would encourage you again to maybe do the same thing, even if you don't want to do YouTube like seriously. Maybe do it as like a study journal. That way other people can they can benefit from your study. That's essentially what this is. That it's just me studying and other people kind of watching, and then the thing is, like, I get to like hear all of you and all these like little bits of information, and so it's just like, this is a great way to learn. But I'm glad that you're enjoying the channel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then Kimberly Harper says she's born in St. Louis, Missouri, and lives in Moreland, Idaho. And then Janet Carlson said, "What about spiritual warfare?"
Well, I kind of already did that with gird up your loins, but yeah, maybe I could see if there's like any other terms like that, like spiritual warfare specifically, or other things like that, and see what comes up.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, this is when the Europe Area Presidency Council's 72-hour kits of preparedness. G says, I live in Salt Lake City. I think the 72-hour emergency prep is extremely light, but the saints in Europe may not have the resources to prepare for the recommended 1 year. I would recommend at least 3 months at a minimum. If they have been listening to prophets, this advice should be more of a reminder, and they are already prepared.
Yeah, I mean, you do what you can within your means. That's all it comes down to, and probably at the very least have a 72-hour kit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're working on. We have some water a lot of water in our food storage. We're working on our 72-hour kits currently, and we have a little bit in our food storage. We can't afford to go buy a whole bunch, but we just buy some every now and then and just add it to. It's not a lot, but it's better than nothing, and I know the Lord will bless everyone's efforts as they try and do what they can in their means.
Yep. And again, I mean, right here, this is food storage.
Yep. That's why we got a cow.
And pretty soon we're going to start working. We were actually supposed to start working on the garden tonight to start laying the hay down. But I don't think that's going to happen until probably next week.
Well, sometime next week. But we got to do
I just, all I do is just try and find related content and put it together, and I'm just glad that there's amazing information like this out there. It blew my mind. Like I will never see Melchizedek as a separate person from Shem from this point going forward. I'm not gonna say for sure that they are, but I feel like the evidence is pretty overwhelming. So I mean, who knows, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was pretty blown away too. I thought it was really neat. Okay, more about the preparedness. Daniel Lima said, how prophetic. And then Michelle Walker said, great video. I am in Utah. I wonder about my food storage because the people of Ukraine had to leave in a hurry and they weren't able to take their food storage with them. That would be terrible to be so prepared with food storage and water and have to leave it behind.
Well, and that happens sometimes. In fact, in Elders, I want to say it was in Elders Quorum here, somebody was talking about a story. I think it was somebody that was in Joplin, Missouri, that had just full on, was fully prepared, had the works. But when that happened, it didn't help them, just because everything got so totally decimated. So, I mean, you can only do what you can do, and then when the disaster actually comes, then you just deal with it. And hopefully it's a disaster where you can rely on your food storage. So just do it anyway. But
yeah, and I don't know if this will help any, because I don't know how true this is, but I was reading on a Facebook page an emergency preparedness for saints, and someone talked about how they lost all of their food storage in something that happened, and someone mentioned that you could get insurance off of your food storage to go along with your home insurance. I don't know how, but I think you can take pictures of what you have and give it to your insurance company. So if you really have a huge stock and it costs a lot of money to get it, then look into doing something like that. Becky Wright says, Utah, been praying and prepping. Thank you for the beautiful drive. Can I get a copy of the letter?
Oh yeah, and I already sent that to her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've already looked through all these comments. You want me to keep going?
No, we can end there.
Okay. That was fun.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for all your comments. You always have a lot of good things to say, and for everyone that's sent me emails or messages via Facebook or Messenger, I'm getting to them. I'm just one person, and I have other things that I have to do.
Half a mile, turn right onto US 400 West.
Outside of YouTube, but my goal is to get to all of them. I may not do a video on all of them. It just depends on the subject matter, if I've already covered it or if there's enough there. But I will get to your emails and respond back. Just be patient and give me some time. So
take the next right onto US 400 West.
Once we have all three of our bulls, I'll take a video of them so you guys can see them, and I'll probably start doing more videos outside on the homestead, and we'll watch our bulls and the chickens and the garden and all that stuff, and talk about homesteading stuff. But aside from that, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it. Make sure to leave your comments and share this with anyone that you think would be interested in this kind of stuff, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.